this past year that greeting has taken on some controversy. Merry Christmas. And so I've had some time to think about that greeting and think that in any meaningful way to say Merry Christmas is to let the story of Christmas inhabit you, to take on in your being the whole story. To say Merry Christmas in any meaningful, authentic way is to realize that this night is a mixture of gritty, heartbreaking reality, of hope, and impossible possibilities. To say Merry Christmas in any real and authentic, meaningful way is to allow oneself to be moved by a love that moves with grace. Now, grace is a tricky word. Grace is one of those words that people have defined, and yet the definition always seems lacking. And so I think grace is best known in the experiences we have. Grace is that feeling, that breaking open that happens to us. For instance, when you look on your child sleeping and see an angel, even though you've had the worst parent-child day of your life. You know what I mean? Have you been there? Or grace is that thing that happens to you when you look across the room at your spouse of maybe 20 years, and this feeling of contentment and joy just wells up in you. And yes, that's the same spouse whose shoes you just stumbled over in the middle of the night, and the one who left you with a nearly empty toilet paper roll. Now, if you're telling me, you know what I mean. Grace is that thing that happens when you see a starving child in Yemen or a community center in California that burned to the ground, and you rush to Google how you can help. And it's that thing that happens when you're just overcome with a sense that you are loved for no particular reason at all. And grace is when you hold on to hope, even when it makes no sense. It's that thing that enters into something that goes on for us, and we just find ourselves breathless in its presence. And, for that moment at least, changed. So this Christmas story we tell is a story of grace and love. And such love and grace comes from outside and finds its way in, and then it comes from within and finds its way out. It defies the odds, it defies gravity, and it challenges the calculus of our living. And more often than not, it comes in unexpected ways at unexpected times. The writer Fred Buechner tells a story about a young country minister who gives home on Christmas Eve, having tended his flock and then taken care of his own children and family. He and his spouse finally climbed into bed, I'm sure well past midnight, exhausted. And then he remembers he had promised his neighbor that he would tend the neighbor's sheep. His neighbor was out of town and he had a flock. And so this minister got out of bed quietly, put on his clothes, and proceeded down the hill through the snow. He gets to the barn and takes out 2 bales of hay and then walks to the shed. And in the shed there's a 40-watt bulb, a bare bulb on a cord hanging from the ceiling. He turns it on and sees the sheep huddled in the corner, snaps the baling wire on the hay, spreads it out, and the sheep come wandering over as sheep do. puffs of air, of their breath in that cold air. And in that moment, that young minister realizes where he is. The shed, the sheep, the hay, the sound of animals eating, the winter dark, the glimmer of one bare 40-watt bulb hanging from the ceiling. And he thinks, of course, I had missed it until now. In all the fury of the night, he hadn't seen it until that moment. In this cold winter shed, with the neighbor's sheep munching away, he says, of course, I'm in the manger. Jesus was born in this world. This world is the manger. This world, we are the manger. That's the grace of it. That's the dirty, smelly, blemished grace of it. You may or may not choose to believe that all of the facts of this Christmas story are true. And truth to tell, some of the things were just plain made up. But even those made-up parts are there for a reason. You see, in the story, even made-up parts in there for a reason tell us some important things like good stories do. Good stories always take some little fact, some little piece of history, and weave it into something that lingers with us long after we've read the last page. A good story will do that for us. A good story will change us. A good story will demand of us that we bring forth the person we were meant to be all along. Christmas is a story of grace and love that won't give up. It's not the slicked-up, sentimental kind of love that we have in romance novels, but this love is fierce and defiant, earth-shattering. It tears down walls and it breaks through the darkness. And that energy, that consciousness, that presence some of us call God, breaks through time and again, and tonight breaks through in this tiny baby. This tiny baby who comes to us, and it is God's no to every move people might take to erode human dignity, to demean, to degrade, and to feed division. This baby is God's no to human failure. When Jesus was born, Augustus was the emperor of Rome, and Quirinius was governor of Syria. And these two and others in power held the peace of that area. But they held the peace through war and fear and intimidation and false imprisonments and lies and deception and oppression and silencing anyone who would protest. It was a false peace. It was the false peace of dictators whose only interest was maintaining their own power. It was the false peace of narcissistic rulers whose only concern was for themselves. But in a field, far from the palaces of the emperor and governor, The sky lit up, and two no-name shepherds got to glimpse another of God's words, another of God's answers. God's no to human failure was in the Word made flesh, and it was a yes. Far from the golden lips of kings' palaces and governors' mansions, God's yes let loose. And those shepherds who would never have dared to cross the threshold of a palace or a mansion, crossed the threshold between heaven and earth. And they found a child in a manger wrapped in cloths, and the world would say of this child, Emmanuel, Prince of Peace, Wonderful Counselor. God said no to kings and rulers, and yes to human beings. Jesus telling us in flesh and bone that we can do better, we can do more, we can love harder, and we actually can live in peace. This Christmas story is a story of love and grace that reminds us who we are meant to be. That we are meant to offer our hearts, our lives, in service of the love that came down this night. A love that dared to enter our world, this world. A love that refuses to give up, even when emperors and kings try to kill it. A love that breaks open the darkness so that we can experience and be the light. So may you tonight, and in all the days to come, do all you can to make room in your hearts for the story, for God's story. May you see the world as your manger. May you let the grace wash over you. And may that grace give you the power to help the world come into an enduring and lasting peace for everyone. As Tiny Tim said at the end, God bless us, everyone. And as someone else said at another end of a Christmas story, Merry Christmas to all.